everyone and welcome back to S2W Sports, and today I'm going to be going over my championship predictions from the start of the season and seeing how many I got right. As you've seen from my Premier League, League 1 and League 2 videos, so far I'm not exactly a king at predictions, so I need to get a good score here. Let's find out how many I got anyway. I'm going to get straight into the video. In 24th place I had Rotherham United. Now, this isn't a bad start. If Sheffield Wednesday never had a points deduction, Rotherham would have finished bottom. So really, I haven't really got this too far off. But hey, they finished 23rd in the end, so one place above what I thought. Yeah, I mean, you know, they did okay, Rotherham. They actually did a bit better than what I thought. They did put up a good fight. They had so many chances at the end of the season to stay up, but they just never took them. They had so many games in hand due to COVID as well, which in the end looked like it was going to be good for them, but turned out not to be, because they just had so many games and it really let them down. Yep, they finished 23rd, and once again they'll be playing League 1 football next season. Disappointing for Rotherham, but they give it a good go. But yeah, unfortunately they have been relegated, one place above what I thought. In 23rd place, I had Sheffield Wednesday. Now, this was mainly due to their 12-point deduction, which actually got halved to 6 points in the end. They finished 24th, so I just got Rotherham and Sheffield Wednesday the wrong way round. They pretty much looked doomed from the beginning. They had not a bad start under Gary Monk, but they had about 3 or 4 managers this season. They had Tony Pulis, Darren Moore came in at the end. The season as a whole was a little bit of a mess for them, and they will be playing League 1 football next season for the first time in over a decade, I believe, as well. So not really a good time to be a Sheffield Wednesday fan. But yeah, I mean, see if they can bounce back. But it was, with their points deduction, it was always going to be hard for them to stay up. Even though they got halved, they still never had a great season, and now they're on about players leaving and everything, so they could struggle a bit more again next season, Wednesday, but we'll wait and see. Yep, they went down though, and yeah, that's another one wrong, but only just. In 22nd place, I had Barnsley. Oh dear, I've had a shocker. But there, to be fair, no one said Barnsley would finish 5th, so I don't feel too bad about this. And let's be honest, if Valérien Ismaël didn't come in, they probably would have been down there. They never won a game before he came in at the end of October. But yeah, fair play to Ismaël. What a fantastic job. Playoff semi-finalists. Fantastic season for Barnsley. Absolutely brilliant. Will they repeat it next season? I'm not too sure. We'll wait and see how they do in the summer, and then we'll see how they start next season. But they exceeded my expectation. 22nd I had them. They finished 5th. They got in the playoffs, so they absolutely blew it away. So fair play Barnsley, and fair play Valérien Ismaël. What a fantastic job he did. In 21st place, I had Luton Town. Now, I was majorly wrong with this. They finished 12th. What a season. If the numbers the opposite way around, I would have got it right, but unfortunately they're not. Nathan Jones, what a job he's done. Them Stoke days seem a distant memory from him now. What a fantastic job he's done at Luton. I mean, last season keeping them up, the great escape. And this season, they were fantastic. They actually, I think they beat Bournemouth, they beat Norwich, who were Premier League clubs just last season. They even beat Watford, so they beat all 3 of the relegated clubs from the Premier League last season. They had a fantastic season. Nathan Jones, what a job he's done. Fair play, 12th place. What a season for Luton that was. Fair play to him. In 20th place, I had Huddersfield Town. What can I say? I got one right. The first one in the list so far, Huddersfield Town. Yeah, it was always going to be a tough season for Huddersfield. I really thought they would battle relegation again. To be fair, they had a pretty good start and they were mid-table till about Christmas, but then injuries started to hit and the season started to go a bit wrong for them. I mean, they doubled Swansea. That's something, I guess. But yeah, that's the only thing they can probably take from the season. They've re-signed Jordan Rhodes now. Hopefully he can get them goals next season. It's been a difficult few years for Huddersfield Town, really, so we'll see how they do next season. But they did stay up, and that's all that matters. Carlos Corberán did keep them up, but it wasn't the most convincing. In 19th place, I had QPR. To be fair, this was looking pretty accurate in the first half of the season, but for some reason, QPR's turned around their season and they actually finished 9th. Their form second half of the season was sensational. They re-signed Charlie Austin and they just turned brilliant again. Fair play to QPR. They did very well and they could really be dark horses next season. But yeah, fair play to them. I thought with losing Eze in the summer, then I thought they'd really struggle. They never, so fair play. In 18th place, I had Wycombe Wanderers. Now, this was very ambitious, like my Fulham bet, but you know what? I'm not even angry I got this one wrong. When Wycombe lost their opening 7 games of the season, I thought they could be the worst championship team ever. I thought they could get a record low points tally. They were 1 game away from staying up. They literally were. If the season went on an extra week, they probably would have. So, yeah, fair play Wycombe. I mean, looking at this was always ambitious. Why I had them 18th with the team they've got, I don't know. But fair play Wycombe though. Gareth Ainsworth, Wycombe Wanderers legend. What a man. What a fantastic coach. Yeah, they did go down, but look, Ainsworth, hold your head up high. In 17th place, I had Reading. Now, I got this hopelessly wrong as well. They finished 7th in the end, so 10 places off. Yeah, they've actually won 7 of their opening 8 games, I think it was as well, so they had an absolute amazing start. It didn't last. They actually ended up falling into 7th, so they never even got a playoff spot in the end, but hey, to be fair to Veljko Paunovic, a guy who came over with no experience in England, he did do very well, and Reading have got something to build on for next season, so fair play to them. Good start for them. Unfortunately, though, they never got in the playoffs, but still, encouraging season for Reading and much better than what I thought. In 16th place, I had Birmingham City. They actually finished 18th, but it could have been a lot worse. Aitor Karanka came in at the start of the season, and the reason I had them this high was because I thought Karanka would be a really safe pair of hands. It wasn't the case. Karanka was pretty terrible, to be honest. They brought in Lee Bowyer, who saved the day, and they finished 18th. They stayed up quite convincingly. It was looking at one point like Birmingham were going down. I was convinced, but no, fair play Bowyer. What a fantastic job he's done since coming in. And let's see how Birmingham can do next season. In 15th place, I had AFC Bournemouth. Now, this was very bold when I put this. Yeah, a lot of people kind of didn't agree with this, to be honest with you, but I thought one team always struggles when they come down, and Norwich and Watford, in my opinion, had way too strong a squads to do that, and I really thought Bournemouth would be the ones. To be fair, they did well. They finished 6th, they were beaten in the playoff semi-finals. They had a decent season, really, for what I expected, but looking at their squad on paper, it's actually still pretty strong, so really, that was probably the minimum anyway. But yeah, they didn't finish 15th. I was way off, 9 places off, but I had to have one team to finish low out of the relegated clubs, and it was Bournemouth, but yeah, it never happened. In 14th place, I had Blackburn Rovers. I was 1 place off with this, but let's be honest, Blackburn should not be finishing in 15th. You know, when you got Adam Armstrong, who's got 28 goals, and you got Harvey Elliott, one of the most talented youngsters in the country, when you finish in 15th, something is seriously wrong. And look, I respect the job Tony Mowbray's done there, done very well, steadied the ship, but in my opinion, they really need a fresh pair of hands going forward, and let's wait and see who that is, if it is anyone. But yeah, it's been a very disappointing season for Blackburn overall. They were on the cusp of the playoffs till about January, and then they went on a poor run of form, faded off, so yeah, disappointing for them in the end. In 13th place, I had Middlesbrough. Obviously, Middlesbrough had a really poor season last season, so I didn't think they were going to improve that much under Warnock, and as much as I do rate Warnock as a championship manager, he may be a little bit past it now, but even though he only got Cardiff promoted 3 years ago, I thought he might be a little bit past it. But look, fair play to him. He got them 10th, a lot better than last season. I thought 13th, and yeah, 3 places higher, but pretty standard season for Middlesbrough. In 12th place, I had Coventry City. This was very ambitious. A lot of people kind of didn't agree with this, and to be fair, they would have been right. They actually finished 16th, so 4 places below what I thought. I'm really excited by Coventry, though. They've got a really good team. They've just played some really good football as well. Yeah, I was really excited by them this season, and yeah, they finished 16th, but in my opinion, they deserved to stay up, and they were ground sharing considering as well, so they didn't even have their home ground this season. They get it back next season, though. I'm encouraged by Coventry. I really think they're a promising team going forward. I'm not saying they're going to get to the Premier League, but they're certainly an encouraging team. And at 12th was a little bit ambitious, but still, they stayed up, and they stayed up quite convincingly. So yeah, fair play. In 11th place, I had Preston North End. They actually finished 13th. Alex Neil was sacked in March after about 5 years. They brought in Frank McAvoy, and to be fair, he did very well at the end of the season. Now he's landed himself the permanent job. Yeah, Preston are that sort of team that always kind of, you know, threatening to get into the playoffs, but it never really happens. This season was another example of that. They had a couple of good away wins at the start of the season. They beat Brentford, they beat Bournemouth, but it never really looked like they were going to push forward. Obviously, Alex Neil was sacked as well. I don't know. I think it's not been a bad season, but next season they'll really be open to achieve big things. See how McAvoy does now. He's got the permanent job as well. In 10th place, I had Stoke City. They actually finished 14th, but to be fair, they were 10th for the majority of the season, which is really frustrating because I was convinced I was going to get this one right, but a little bit of a slump in the second half of the season. They finished 14th. Stoke's league finishes since they've gone down now are 16th, 15th and 14th, so I think I know where I'm having them to finish next season. But yeah, Stoke finished there. I mean, it's weird to see this with Stoke. They're a Premier League team for 10 years recently, and now they just seem to be very much mid-table in the Championship. they can turn it round next season, I do think. Michael O'Neill's got a good squad there, and I do think with the right players, you know, the right style of football as well, they can go forward. But another pretty disappointing season for Stoke, it must be said. In ninth place, I had Cardiff City. Now, Cardiff actually finished 8th, so again, I was one place off with this. Neil Harris was sacked when they were 15th in, I think it was January, so Neil Harris had a really disappointing start to the season. And Mick McCarthy came in, they started absolutely amazing, but then they faded off and ended up finishing 8th. To be fair, it was a pretty decent season for Cardiff. They got playoffs last season though, so the season before last, sorry, so I guess you can say it's been a bit of a disappointment at the same time. But yeah, 8th place I had Swansea City. Swansea actually got the playoffs to finish 4th in the end, and Swansea, let's be honest, they were always going to get the playoffs, I think, this season. They were always up there, so fair play Swansea. They did well in the end. I had them 8th. They've got the playoffs the previous season, just about, of course, so yeah, fair play Swansea. They finished a little bit higher than what I thought. Beaten in the playoff final, though, in the end, so not quite the Premier League, but they did okay this season. In 7th place, I had Nottingham Forest. Now, to be honest with you, Nottingham Forest fans probably would have rather finished 17th than have another 7th place finish. I mean, obviously after their collapse at the end of last season, it just didn't go, you know, their season just started terribly. Lamucci was sacked in the first few games. They brought in Chris Hughton. It never really got going, though, throughout the season. They had a few results here and there, but yeah, it's got to be said, it's been a pretty disappointing season for Forest. They'll be open to push forward next year. They never really looked in trouble of going down other than the very start of the season, but it wasn't great for them, though. And next season under Hughton, a good championship manager, I really think this team can do something. Yeah, but I had them 7th and they finished 17th, so I was way off again. In 6th place, I had Derby County. Oh, boy. Again, though, like Barnsley, who'd have predicted Derby would finish 21st? That's not the worst bit, though. The worst bit is I had Derby to win the playoffs. Every year I expect Derby to go up and it just never happens. I don't know what it is. Like, I always have good hopes for them every year. This year I was made to look like an absolute mug because they finished 21st. They were literally about 10 minutes away from getting relegated. So I was way off with this one, but who'd have predicted this though? Philip Cocu was sacked in November with them bottom of the league. Wayne Rooney came in. He had a good start, but in the end even his form went really poor there as well. Yeah, 21st finish in the end. They stayed up and let's see if they can build on it next season. I'm not too sure though it's going to work out for Rooney, but we will wait and see. But yeah, I was absolutely miles off. In 5th place, I had Norwich City. They finished 1st, absolutely dominated the league again. Fair play. I mean, look, I don't have nothing against Norwich as a club or anything, but you know, this whole going down, going back up thing, I do agree with people. It is a little bit frustrating, but look, fair play Norwich. They came down, kept all their players, to be fair, as well. Yeah, I actually had Derby to beat Norwich in the final as well, which makes it a little bit more embarrassing. But hey, to be fair, Derby have beat Norwich this season, so that was at the 4th game, though, so yeah, a long time ago. But yeah, fair play to Norwich. They were fantastic, to be fair, and they kept their same team, as I mentioned, and yeah, they walked the league, to be fair to them, so I was off with this one. In 4th place, I had Millwall. A little bit ambitious. I don't really know why I thought Millwall were going to get into the playoffs above Norwich, but they actually finished 11th, mid-table. They didn't have a bad season, but it was never looking like they were ever going to get in the playoffs, so this was way too ambitious. I don't know what made me think that. Gary Rout's a good manager, to be fair, but a little bit ambitious. But I will say Millwall are a team who've certainly missed the fans. In 3rd place, I had Bristol City.
What have I done?
Oh dear. Yeah, I was absolutely way wrong. I don't know why, a bit like Millwall, but they actually finished in 19th place, so they finished absolutely miles down the table, like 16 places below where I thought. What on earth made me think they'd finished 3rd? I was a big fan of their summer recruitment, but looking back, it wasn't even that great, so I don't know what made... I don't know, I've got no reason for this, okay? I had them 3rd, and I don't know why, because they were 19th place. They bought in Nigel Pearson. It didn't work out. Yeah, I've got nothing to say here. I was wrong, that's fair to say. In 2nd place, I had Brentford. Now, Brentford did go up, but it wasn't in 2nd. It was in 3rd. They went up via the playoffs, erasing that heartbreak against Fulham from the previous year. Buzzing for Brentford. I'm very glad they've finally done it. Look, Brentford are a team who've been close for a few years, really, and they're finally there. I'm buzzing. They're going to be a breath of fresh air to the Premier League. I thought second, I thought they'd do it. Even though they sold a lot of players last summer, I was convinced they'd do it. And yeah, they did in the end, but it wasn't automatically. And in first place as champions, I had Watford. Now, to be honest, I looked at Watford's team when they came down and I thought this team is too strong to not go back up. To be fair, first half of the season wasn't great under Vladimir Ivic. They had him until Christmas time. I think they were like fifth, but he got sacked anyway because the football was dull, etc. They brought in Cisco, he's done fantastic, and Watford are promoted. They actually finished second, not first, but yeah, fair play Watford. I mean, I looked at their team though, and the players they signed, a couple as well. I just thought that these are too good to not go back up, really. I was convinced in the beginning that it was going to happen. It did, in second place. I think Watford will probably do quite well next season as well, really. I think Watford had that one weird season which took them down. But yeah, fair play to them. They're back up, but they didn't finish first, they finished second. So that leaves my final score on the Championship predictions as 1 out of 24. I'm really not great at this, am I? But yeah, so this is going to be even better. So my final score out of all 4 leagues for the season, 2.5 out of 92. What? Like... Wow, how? How have I done this badly? 2.5 out of 92. Yeah, but yeah, that's it. I mean, it just sums up how hard leagues are to predict. Yeah, I can't believe it. I really can't. But no, fair play Championship though again. Norwich, fantastic season. Watford are re-promoted and Brentford. Unfortunate for Rotherham, Sheffield Wednesday and Wycombe Wanderers. Hopefully they can do their best to bounce back on the first attempt. But yeah. 2.5 out of 92. Terrible, terrible. Hopefully next season I do better. And I've got no excuse for my knowledge of the Championship either, because it's actually quite good. It was at the start of the season, but I've had a little bit of a shocker here, it's fair to say. But yeah, that's it anyway, guys. Thank you very much for watching the video. Please like, share, subscribe to the channel. Really enjoying all the views I'm getting recently. The most I've ever gotten on the channel by far. But yes, please like, share, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back soon with more content.